Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar on CCS MSM Agent E-Summit. I hope all are joining. So we're just waiting for our joinees to join in slowly. The numbers are increasing. Yes, so today we would be going on. So good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen from all parts of the world. Thank you for taking your time out and being here today. My name is Jim George, and I'll be your moderator. I am the Manager, Global Marketing Office, overseeing US institutions at MSM. I'm pleased to introduce our speaker, Trina Allen. Trina is the Recruiter and Admissions Manager at Community College of Spokane. Before I hand over to Trina, I have a few housekeeping items to cover about this presentation and the webinar platform. The agenda for today's webinar will be a comprehensive presentation on Community College of Spokane by Trina. We'd love to hear from you. Feel free to drop in all your questions in the Q&A session present in the control panel. They will be answered either during the webinar or at the end of the question answer session. In case if you're facing any technical issues, please feel free to drop in a message in the chat box. There will be 2 polling sessions during the webinar, and we encourage your active participation during the polls. For those who have just joined us, welcome to today's webinar on CCS MSM Agent E-Summit 2020 Live. So without any further ado, I'd like to kickstart things off by welcoming our presenter, Trina Allen. Trina, over to you.
Thank you, Jim. Hello, everybody. Good evening, good morning. I'm very, very pleased to know that you're out there. Some of you I've met before, some of you I've never met, so it's really great to be able to engage in this format during this time that we're all experiencing. I appreciate your attention, and we're going to have a really fun hour together. I would like to start my presentation off with a video because I want you to have a vision of the city of Spokane in your mind as we finish the presentation through. Just like India, America is very diverse. All of our cities are different. Our language is different. Our accents are different. Food is different. So to give you a sense of who we are in Spokane, I think this video really captures the essence. So please enjoy. So I love that video. Now I want to do some housekeeping of my own and run through just some quick updates on Washington State's stay home, stay healthy order mandated by our governor to address the COVID-19 situation that we are experiencing worldwide. I'm happy to say that Spokane is very, it's considered quite a safe area. We are virtually untouched compared to other areas in the USA right now. You can see some statistics here that we do have some cases and some deaths, but not as many as Seattle has experienced or other places in the US. As you might know, we are hosting all of our classes online for spring quarter, and we, all the faculty, staff, students are fully online and engaged every day virtually, and I think it's going quite well. We're in day 2 of spring quarter. So we were quickly able to assist students and continue their studies, help them continue their studies online. We are planning for fall intake. We're taking applications. We are promoting fall. However, at this time, like many other institutions, we have not yet decided if we will be fully online at this time. We'll keep you posted. Okay, let's get into the good stuff. So we are Community Colleges of Spokane. We do have 2 campus locations in Spokane. They're called Spokane Falls and Spokane Community College. We take our mission and vision very seriously. We really keep those values in mind when we make all of our decisions for students. And we do strive to make the world a better place, one student at a time. The colleges were founded in the 60s, and our values also drive a lot of our decision making for students, staff, and faculty. So let's talk about Washington State. Washington State has so much to offer, not just because we are on the West Coast where life tends to be a little bit more easygoing and environmentally friendly. Folks are outside a lot in Washington, but we also are ranked the 4th fastest growing state economically by CNN Money. So really this is just a beautiful place to live and study. We don't have the hustle bustle of a big city. We don't have traffic jams and other issues that students might experience in a larger city. We're like a hidden gem in the Northwest. Also, some of you might be familiar with these names. Washington State is home to many of these very large corporations and companies, which what that means for your students is what? OPT opportunities everywhere. So you saw some of the beautiful outdoor nature in Spokane and around Spokane. We've got about 300 lakes in the area, in the region. So as I mentioned, students and the community are outside a lot because the weather is beautiful. There's always something to do. The city in Spokane really has activities that are music and art festivals and things that are going on in our park downtown. So it's really an engaging, community-centric place to live, especially for students. Here are the 2 campus names. Both of them are located in the city. And again, we do consider our city to be quite safe compared to some larger cities that you might be familiar with in the USA. The population actually of Spokane is about 600,000 in the Spokane County. Here is a breakdown of some of our demographics. And as you can see from the stats, our students tend to stay here. They really enjoy the pace and the size of the college. We're considered a small college, but that gives the student more of the high touch attention and interaction with their faculty. So they do feel like they've got an extra helping hand to make them successful. India, I know this might be a little bit hard to see, but India is in our top 5 enrollment. And our GPA, our international student average GPA is really high. So to me, that shows that they're happy and successful. Jim, you're muted.
Yes. Yeah, so it's poll timing now, and so let's get into the polls. Yeah, so to ensure that this webinar has been in par with our quality standards, so please let us know how the audio and video qualities are faring. Are you able to hear us and see us properly? Rate us if they are excellent, very good, good, or poor. Now, Trina has covered about where CCS is situated. Here's your second question. Let us know which state of USA is Community Colleges of Spokane situated. Is it Oregon, Idaho, Washington, or Montana? We encourage everyone to actively participate in these polls. Now, getting in depth into CCS, let us know how many countries does CCS have international students present from? Did she mention 30, 32, 34, or 36? So we're getting good amount of responses from everyone. I think we can close the polls and see the results. Waiting for closing the polls and seeing the results. Yes. Okay. So I'm just sharing the results with you just to ensure that you are seeing. We are happy that we're getting a positive response, especially with the video and audio quality. So those who have told it's poor, we unfortunately regret for that, and we'll ensure to keep up the quality for both. And there is an excellent response on which state Community College of Spokane is. So everyone is very active. And then, of course, we find that the number of the correct answer for the number of international students from different countries is a little mixed. It's 36, so, but then we see that there are answers that came from different ways, so it's fine. So let's go and proceed for the next slide. Over to you, Trina.
Thank you. So why CCS? Why a community college? Most of what I have to tell you is eccentric to a community college. But the reason why I'm showing you some of these next few points is the things that set us apart from other community colleges on the West Coast or around the nation. We find that we are unique in what we offer to students, and we also really appreciate our smaller enrollment size, again, because this just benefits the student success. So let's take a look at some of the unique programming offered in Spokane. My slide, there it goes, okay. So many of you may know that this community college offers a transfer pathway program. So this means essentially that students will study for 2 years at a community college and then transfer on to a university of their choice to finish their final 2 years earning a bachelor degree. We generally call this the 2+2 transfer pathway. Here are some many reasons why students choose to do this, even domestic students. I think right now about 51% of all undergraduate students in the USA are enrolled in a community college. So you can see that this is quite a smart way to start. It's affordable. There's a lots of program options for students. Usually the admissions process is a lot easier than a university. And of course, just the advising and high touch support systems. So here it again, students would do high school, then they would go into the 2-year associate degree at a community college, transfer on to university, and then at the end of those 4 years, the student would walk away with 2 degrees instead of just 1. So transfer universities, this is often something that's quite confusing. So hopefully the Community Colleges of Spokane will really provide a lot of guidance to students from the beginning, because we do have partner universities. A short list of partners here you see a lot of them are in our area, which students often really like to stay in the region. They've been here for 2 years, they have friends, they've established their new life, and they really want to stay close to what's comfortable. Gonzaga University, University of Idaho, Washington State University, and more are considered our partners. What this means for your students is a conditional letter of acceptance from these universities that they receive when they receive their I-20. So this is really beneficial for that visa interview to show that plan, the study plan, the transfer pathway plan. Students do not have to transfer to these universities. They can transfer anywhere they desire. They are just not able to receive that conditional letter in advance, but they do get transfer advising and transfer support, absolutely. Again, small classes really make the difference in retention and student success. And because of the wide variety of programs that we offer, students do get real world experience. They get hands-on practical training, not just lecture, lecture, lecture. This is another really great difference that students can experience when they study in the USA. Programs, this is also very important. We have, of course, we have the top programs, STEM, business, fine arts. Actually, we're seeing an uptick in students wanting to study in the arts. We also have very strong health science programs. We've got radiology programs, sonography, echocardiography, medical assistant, everything you can imagine. We offer those also 2-year transfer programs. As well, students can earn applied science degrees that are just 2-year degrees, not transfer. However, most of these degrees make them job ready. They can transfer right into an OPT seamlessly. Another thing that makes us unique here in Community Colleges of Spokane is called high school completion. So this is a really unique opportunity for students to finish high school at the same time they're doing their college classes. So typically a student will enroll after they've finished 10th grade or 11th grade. They come on over to CCS and take high school classes that are dual credit. So what this means for the student is they finish faster, they get a kickstart on their academic study, and they're earning a Washington State high school diploma. We do look for a higher GPA, and students that begin the high school completion with us, if they're under 18 years old, they are required to live with the host family just because they're considered minors. This is an excellent program for students who want to get an advanced start on their education and who typically have a higher grade point. It's a very engaged group of students. They're active, just always doing great things and engaged in clubs. It's a lot of fun. I enjoy being around this group of students. We also have an honors program that is excellent for motivated students who are interested in transferring to top universities in the US. This honors program will really help them achieve the standard of application that these top universities are looking for. They also get transfer advising in the honors program. The classes in honors are set up a little bit differently. They're more of a debate style, conversational engagement class rather than mostly lecture to motivate critical thinking. We do look for high GPA, but not only high GPA. We look at the applicant holistically, and we do ask for recommendation letters and an essay. So it's a great program. Another thing that we're very proud of is we have a campus, a satellite campus location that's on the Washington State University campus. So Washington State University is about an hour drive from Spokane. So we're really close to WSU. And we have a community college campus right on the Washington State campus. So students who want to transfer to Washington State University can start in the Pullman area location and transition seamlessly into Washington State University as their transfer. Like it says on the slide, there's no extra cost. It's just a perfect place to transition. They get students who are SFCC students, but on the WSU campus, can engage in all of the WSU resources, the gym, the libraries, everything is available to them. So this is a really excellent opportunity. We are limited in the programs offered, however. So you can see here from this slide that students that are interested in business and STEM would be a perfect fit for the WSU campus location. Here is probably what you're all looking for, is the basic top bullet points. Tuition fees. Our annual tuition comes in under 10,000 USD per year. Really competitive. And this is one reason why students start to study at a community college, is because they save money, period. It doesn't mean that we're lower quality or that we don't have the right professors or programs. It's just simply the nature of a community college in the US. The tuition fees are always going to be less because the community colleges were created for the community so that everyone has access to education. Truly, our admissions can be done in 48 hours. Once we receive a complete application, that I-20 is generated quickly, which benefits both you and your students. And as you can see, we do accept the Duolingo now. I know that many testing centers are not open and available. So we are one of the schools that accept the Duolingo. You can see the other test scores we accept here.
Yes, so we are all set for the second polling. So let's see what the questions are. Yeah. So what was the student-faculty ratio for Community College of Spokane that was mentioned by Trina? Was it 16:1, or a 19:1, or a 21:1, or a 23:1 student-faculty ratio? The second question, what I would like to ask was, what are the IELTS requirements for CCS? Was it mentioned on the slide as a 5.0 or a 5.5 or a 6.0 or a 6.5? Let's see how many of you will get this correct. And the final question is that, what is the duration of an associate degree program in the US? Is it a 1-year program, or a 2-year program, or a 3-year program, or a 4-year program? Let's see what the results are coming up. Yes, I see a lot of answers, and wow, this is amazing. We're getting a very positive result from all of them. So that's nice. And I'm going to end the polls and share the results. So let's see, how is it? Yes, so of course, 60% of them have told the correct student-faculty ratio. That means, of course, they're hearing. And then 89% of them have told the right IELTS requirement. And 85% of them have told the right duration of an associate degree program in the US. So it's good going. Everyone is attentive. And I think over to you, Trina. You can proceed with the presentation.
Thank you. Yes, that's exciting to see. Okay. Now let's talk about some students and their OPT, because this is what makes us most proud. And I know this topic is also of interest to you. These are two faces that some of you may have seen, and we're proud of both of these two. These two represent a large number of students engaged in OPT and CPT. But these two in particular are really good success stories. Abhilash right now is at Whitworth University. He transferred to Whitworth doing his computer science information technology program, and he did receive some scholarships. Before he transferred, he did do his OPT with a technology company here in this region. Navpreet, we're going to watch a video about Navpreet soon, but she really has She's the epitome of a typical Indian success story. And I say that because the culture shock sometimes when they come to the US can be quite difficult. She really struggled and wanted to go home, but she pushed through and succeeded. She had an OPT at a very large technology company here in the region. And now this girl is working for Microsoft. She is really doing herself a justice. She finished her 2-year degree here in electrical engineering technology, has not transferred to a university, but landed a job at Microsoft. So there's so many options when you start at a community college. It isn't all about university. So here we have Navpreet. We're going to end with a video about her story. And please, I hope you enjoy. I always enjoy watching her too.
हाय दिस इज़ नवप्रीत कौर मैं लुधियाना से आई हूँ पंजाब से यहाँ पे कहीं 1 साल हो गया मुझे यहाँ आए तो बहुत ही अलग एक्सपीरियंस बहुत ही अच्छा वाला एक्सपीरियंस हुआ है। अब 1 साल बाद मैं ये बोल रही हूँ कि मैं ये भी करूँ क्योंकि इतनी अपॉर्चुनिटीज़ है लाइफ में मेरे पास अब तो जैसे जो मैं हमेशा से बनना चाहती थी अब मुझे लग रहा है कि मैं बन जाऊँगी। मेरा यहाँ पे इंजीनियरिंग का कोर्स है इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स इंजीनियरिंग दैट्स गोइंग रियली गुड। अब 1 साल बाद जब मुझे लोग पूछते हैं कि कैसा है जब मन लग गया ये वो मैं तो पढ़ाई ख़त्म करने से पहले आने नहीं वाली इंडिया क्योंकि इतना है कुछ इतना करने को। हमारे जब वेकेशन ब्रेक होती है तब भी इतना कुछ होता है ये करना है वो करना है फ्रेंड्स बन चुके हैं यहाँ पे। First thing that always comes in my mind is cost because first I tried New York and California because my relatives are already over there but it's triple it's very expensive honestly every stuff study or housing everything is very expensive and Spokane is way more cheaper to do study here with the same quality. You know what? I gave options to my counselors that I want this first cost, then this quality of education I want. So she said, yeah, this is a college that you want and this is a course that you want. So that's why I choose it.
Okay, I think that's a perfect place to end on a high note. I covered a lot of information in a short time, and I welcome questions through our team here, and thank you very much for your attention. The polls told me that you were listening, and that makes me feel great. Polls are fun.
Yeah, thank you, Trina. The presentation was wonderful. We already have a few questions. Great. I would request all our attendees to add in whatever additional question and answers that you would require so as to join our discussion. So I'll just go through a few questions that have come up. One of our partners has asked that, can you please talk about the visa too, because most parents believe that US is no longer giving visas because of the Trump policy. Even we try to let them know that students can still get the visa and travel, yet they feel that particular hindrance. So can you just give a little briefing on that?
Absolutely. That's always on our mind as well. And I have to say that we do notice a decline in visa approvals. However, it's fluctuating. So students, we have students on campus. We have students that get their visa from India, from many countries. So there's got to be some kind of, not magic, but I think what we find in community colleges is that if students are very well prepared, meaning if they understand clearly their study plan, they understand the 2+2 pathway, they have a focused major, they know where they're going to live, and they can talk confidently about that, I think that's 50% of the deal. I also understand that there is a stigma around community college study. And I'm not sure how much I really believe this because there's so many other things that the embassy looks for besides, you know, a student's confidence, more than what we really know. So I think the best we can do is grab onto the goal. If the student wants to study in the US, then they need to be prepared. They need to work on being prepared for the most important interview of their life. The M Square team and myself always provide visa support. So I think that, you know, maybe the next 4 years will be different, but for now we have to just work with what we have and persevere and just work for it.
Thanks for your answer, Trina. So the next question from our another partner is that can you give more details on the transfer program? They want to get more insight on how the particular transfer program works, and if you could just give a briefing on the same.
Sure. I think what you might be asking is just the specifics. So hopefully what I say will answer your question.
Yeah,
So let's say students will come and study marketing. They want to study digital marketing. And so they'll enroll at the community colleges and study that program for 2 years. The majority of these classes are core classes. They're the beginner classes that any university offers. And those first 2 years, they're quite similar in the USA. Students will be taking those classes as well as some beginning marketing classes. And once they finish their 2 years, they attend graduation, they get their diploma, and they can either do OPT for 1 year and find a job in marketing to get that work experience, or they can transfer directly to a university. Now, how that works is during their last year, their second year here at the community college, they will start to look for and apply to universities of their choice. They can apply to 5 to 10, as many universities as they want. And once they receive their acceptance letters, then they'll decide where they want to transfer to. Of course, they have advising and guidance on this, but they need to keep in mind factors of location, cost, scholarship, and who has the program they're intending. So once they graduate from CCS, and if they do their OPT, then they plan to transfer on to that university. They usually enter as year 3, as a junior standing at the university. So that means they have 2 more years to study at the university level. Once they graduate, they earn their bachelor degree in marketing. So now they have 2 degrees, associate marketing and bachelor in marketing, instead of just 1. I hope that answers the information. That's the basic structure of the 2-year 2+2 transfer pathway.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yes, that perfectly answers it. So the next question is, to get more insight on the under 18 student. How will they proceed for their admissions and visa process? They want to know, is it the normal procedure or is there any specific procedures that are there?
Yeah, great question. So the only thing that's specific for a minor student to apply to the high school completion program is that we require the homestay application at the time of the student application. So that has to be done in advance before they receive their I-20. And we also look for a GPA of their current high school year, let's say 10th and 11th grade, for example. We will look for an equivalent of the 3.0 or higher. And this just helps us to determine the level of maturity for the student to be able to leave home and live in a new location who are still young. And so essentially, we don't require anything specific outside of looking for a little bit higher GPA. As I mentioned in the slide, the students will be living with the host family until they're 18 years old, and then they can move out after they're 18, or they can remain with that host family if they want to. Most of the time students stay because they, enjoy living with the American family.
Okay, done. Sure. So now the next question what was asked is about the visa success rate. So can you just give a small briefing on how or what type of students usually get their visas, and what are the preparations that students need to do before appearing for a visa interview, especially when they're selecting a community college?
Sure. Okay. This is a good question, and I'm glad that we can circle back to this because there's always so much to talk about when it comes to the visa prep. So we see the student that tends to receive the visa are students from India that have not yet started university or that have only about 1 year of university study. If a student already has a bachelor degree, but they want to come and study in the USA, a community college is not a good fit because they're repeating the undergraduate study. They won't get the visa. So students who are just out of high school, or maybe starting in their diploma, the beginning of their university level study, those students who decide to study abroad have a better opportunity of getting the visa because they're still early in their university career. I also think that a higher IELTS and a clearer language ability can only help. And I think that I don't want students to memorize visa questions. They have to be a natural speaker. A visa officer who knows that student is memorizing an answer, that is not going to do any favors to that visa approval.
Yeah.
Well, those are the things that come to my mind first.
Yeah, and of course, we do need to understand that also that these visa officers see more than 10,000 students coming in. So they easily identify those who are just learning by heart and just coming out and speaking, and those who are speaking from there.
That's a good point, Jim. And let me add one more thing too, that these visa officers see so many people all day, every week, every month, just like you said. So the more unique and personalized the students' answers are, and the more genuine the students' answers are, the more it's going to appeal to like, oh, okay, this student really has it figured out. They want to do ABC. Is so much better that will set them apart. Anything that's set apart from the norm is going to get the attention.
Right. Yeah. So one of our partner wants to know more about the OPT. Basically, they want to know the different, he's mentioned PSWP, that is the post-study work permits. So what are the OPT options and how many years does a student, if you can just give a small briefing on that.
Sure. So because we're at an undergraduate associate degree level, students have the opportunity to do 1 year of OPT. Associate degree levels do not have the benefit of the STEM OPT where it's 1.5 years. That doesn't account for our level of undergraduate study. So students can take advantage of OPT after they graduate, and they can take advantage of CPT, curricular practical training, during their studies, which is often the case for programs like NAVPREETS or culinary arts or the aviation program where they want to do a working internship during their studies. So we can do CPT, OPT, and then once they transfer to the bachelor degree, they can do another OPT after they graduate with their bachelor degree. And if they're a STEM student, then they would, at that time, that second OPT, they could take advantage of the extended STEM approval.
That would be for another additional 24 months.
Exactly.
Sure. Okay. So we've got a Nigerian partner who's asking us, will the English requirements be waived for Nigeria because they are an English-speaking country?
Yes. Thank you for being here. And that's a question we struggle with. We've actually tried both. To be honest, with our M² partners, we've done some recruiting and admissions with an English requirement in place, as well as without an English requirement in place. Currently, we do require it. And think about it this way. It's purely for the success of the student at the embassy, as well as for the success of the student in a classroom. I think we all understand how speaking English in a conversation or listening to a movie is so much different than sitting in a classroom and earning a grade for the high amount of money that you pay. So we do require English right now, but purely because we want the best for the student and we want the student to arrive and be successful and not stressed.
So it's more, you're looking out for the concern of the student, that they come there and they are able to study properly. They are able to interact with their students, their other students, as well as the mentors and tutors. So that is the main reason. Right?
Exactly. Thank you, Jim.
Yeah. So one of our partner wants to know if sonography, radiology, or nursing courses, what I-20 will the student receive?
Another great question. I love it. Everybody's really on the same page. So because these programs are competitive, when the student receives the I-20, they are not yet in the program. Most of these programs require prerequisite courses that the student needs to complete before they can enter into those specific programs. So the I-20 will say biological science, but the letter of acceptance will clearly outline the intended major of the student. This is also where it's important that the student understands the process. So when they're at the embassy, when their visa interview, they can articulate the plan. Most of these health science programs have pre-required courses, as well as other things that are required before you enter the program, like volunteer hours, an interview process. Rarely do students jump right into the program without making sure that they're prepared and ready. So the I-20 will say biological science, but the letter will clearly outline the major and the intent of the student.
Thank you. Also, one of our partners wanted to know that what would be the placement opportunities for students? That means maybe they're referring to the OPT session after that first 2 years. Do you provide some placements? And also they want to know on-campus jobs in case if they're coming in, what are the possibilities? So can you just give a briefing on these 2 points?
Sure. So the OPT opportunities are pretty vast. And it really, as you know, it depends on the program of study and it depends on the motivation of the student. So the staff in college, we don't help them find a job, but we definitely help them network. So for example, Navpreet, one of her mentors was her initial instructor. They became very close, motivating. The instructor was just fabulous and helped Navpreet connect with industries in the community. Because again, the community comes to the college to hire students from our programs because they're ready, they're job ready, essentially. So we work with lots of different industries in the region. So OPT is very possible, but the student has to go out and make the interviews and be prepared and make it happen for themselves. However, the college does help them network. And on-campus work study definitely is available. We don't have a lot of opportunities, but students often get jobs in student government, student activities. We hire in the Global Education Office. The library also hires, as well as the fitness center. So there's a lot of different places students can look for on-campus work study. Generally, it's about 10 hours, 8 to 10 hours per week. Minimum wage right now in Washington State, I think, is $12 per hour. I could be wrong. It's really increased a lot lately. So yes, there is opportunity for students.
Done. So I'm just clubbing 2 questions. Are there scholarships available? And the second question is, how many classes are usually there in a week? How many times that the students will have to come for their classes?
Yes, good. We do have scholarship opportunities for students. We have over 100 scholarships that students can apply for. And yes, They are available to international students. Our scholarship works on an annual rotating system. So our scholarship portal opens in October of every year. Students have through January to complete their applications. January 31st, the scholarship portal closes. Scholarships are assessed and given out to students every May. So it's an annual rotating process. So if a student gets a scholarship in May, they can apply that to their next year, their next fall quarter of study, for example. The scholarships range. I couldn't tell you the amount. There's such a wide variety of amounts, from anywhere from 500 to 3,000 or more. And students can earn many scholarships, and they can apply both years that they're here studying.
Thank you. So we've got a very interesting question from one of our Nigerian partner. The partner is asking your suggestion for how to means if the visa denial rates in Nigeria is too high. So how to overcome that, and what is your advice or suggestions for students, how they have to be prepared? So if you can just give us a few details.
My number one suggestion would be to have the students work with the Education USA office. And that will boil down to you as an agent, to your relationship with the Education USA office. And I know in different areas of the world, agencies are looked at with different levels of skepticism. We have to admit that. But if you are in it for the right reason and you want the student to succeed, the Education USA office is a huge benefit to the students. What we're seeing helps is if they get their documentation validated by the Education USA office. Literally, it's just a stamp or a paper that goes along with the documents. An advisor at the Ed USA Center will chat with the student, review some of the documentation. I mean, that's a lot like what you do, but the Education USA office will provide that extra level of support and guidance and maybe some resources for free for that student that just enhances their confidence so that they can be, they feel more ready when they go to the embassy.
Yeah.
And I would have the student interface with the M-Square representative and myself when they get to the point of visa prep. It's really beneficial for the student to talk to me, to talk to many different people, to practice and review questions, to get that sense of confidence and clarity. I mean, just talking to the school really gives them a better visual of what they're about to do.
Yes, and there's another interesting question, especially during this COVID-19 situation. They're asking that, can a student apply with a conditional offer letter? Is there anything of that sort in case if something is pending, they're not able to write their exam or something like that?
Ask that again.
The conditional offer letter, do you offer a conditional offer letter? Because especially in this particular situation, there are a lot of students who may be writing their 12th, but unfortunately not able to complete their exams, but yet want to look into, and then you would give a conditional offer letter as of
absolutely.
now, looking into that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. If we get in a complete application, we will meet the student where they are. I know that everybody is in a holding pattern, as so are we, but we're still moving forward as if, things will get back to normal soon. And if not, the student can always begin their studies online. Online now, on campus later. It's a thing. And we can definitely work with that. So yes, the answer is yes, we can do conditional letter of acceptance, absolutely.
Another interesting question, what are the programs or courses that offer a better OPT chance?
I would say IT, healthcare programs, culinary arts, aviation maintenance, hospitality. Hospitality is number one. The programs that are more difficult to find a job because they're more general are business that's such a broad major that the student has to really be ready for what kind of a job do I want? What does business mean at the associate degree level? So the more specific the major, the more easy it is for a student to be specialized and to be ready for the job experience. Also, the programs that I mentioned have built-in internships into the program. So this already gets them out into the workforce on an internship CPT basis. And oftentimes those places where they're working for CPT will then of course hire them again for OPT.
Okay. Yeah. So the next question, just to complete whatever you told now, means what are the CPT options? Means are there? Does a student after going that first 2 years, will they get an option a CPT?
I lost your connection during that question, so I think I understand what are the CPT options. So I just mentioned that, but most of the time the student that does CPT are students that have the internship built into their curriculum, like in hospitality or in some of the tech programs like IT, aviation maintenance, those kinds of programs. Get that practical hands-on training. So they, for 1 quarter, they go out and do an internship somewhere in the workforce, which is the CPT.
Yeah. Okay.
I hope that helped.
Yeah, sure. And I would ask the last and final question, and then in case, what is is there any application fee, or how is the I-20 being shipped? Could you just tell me a briefing on what is that particular process from once you're admitting a student and later till the I-20 is being issued?
Yes, great question. So we do have an application fee. It's generally it's $100, but we waive that for our M Square partners, which means that's, you know, we waive that for you. And the shipment, we use a company called eShip Global. So that would be a charge that would be incurred by the student or the agent to pay for the shipping of the I-20. So while you don't have an application fee, the student will pay for the shipping.
Sure. Yeah. So there are a few more questions. In case if any questions are not being answered, for sure we'll get back and answer all our partners' questions. And then thank you so much, Trina. We already we're all done with the questions. So is there anything else that you would like to mention?
No, but I've really enjoyed this session with you. I've enjoyed the questions, excellent questions. I can tell that we're all thinking the same thing, which is the success of the student. And I really appreciate your time, and we wish you a healthy week. And of course, through M Squared, I'm here. If you have more questions or want to connect again, you just contact your representative, and I would love to meet with you. Thank you all very, very much.
Great, thank you. So now we have some announcements to be made. So our second round of webinar for this same presentation will be aired on April 21st, 2020 at 9:30 a.m. Pacific time. So if anyone who joined us late, or if you have some recommendations of your students, colleagues, or references, please feel free to share the registration links. We at MSM are super excited to introduce you Agent eSummit 2020 live, and would request all of you to follow us on our Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, and YouTube platforms to get more updates on all the upcoming events. So thank you for participating in today's webinar. We hope to see you again next time. Stay home, stay safe. Thank you so much.